Hola! In this video we'll be talking about los verbos reflexivos, or reflexive verbs. Okay, if you look at the word reflexivo, what English word does it remind you of? Maybe reflect or reflection? That's because all of these words are related. If you think about a mirror reflecting the picture of you back to yourself, that's what these verbs do with the action in a sentence. They make the person doing the action do that action back to themselves. For example, let's think about it this way. You already know a verb does this. We learned it way back in the first video lesson. To say, my name is, do you remember how to say it? It is yo me llamo, or me llamo. If I remove the me, I would only have yo llamo, llamo, okay? Which means I call. I could use this sentence and say, I call my friends on the telephone. Yo llamo a mis amigos por teléfono. But if I call myself, which I don't do because it never goes through, I would need the me, myself or me. It goes after yo and before our conjugated or changed verb. Okay, so if I wanted to say that I call myself, just like we already learned, I will say yo me llamo. Please remember that yo is optional because the verb ends in o. Okay, we've already gone over that yo, to, all those are optional. Okay, once you have your verb changed. We know that the verb changed in the o refers to yo, which means I, and sometimes it could mean me. Okay, the me though, it means myself or me, and if I do the action to myself, I have to have the me. But the me and the yo are not the same thing. Okay, again, yo is usually I, me is myself or me. In the first video, I mentioned that me llamo Señor Jordan is correct, and me llamo es Señor Jordan is horribly incorrect. The latter would translate to I call myself es Señor Jordan. So unless part of my name is es, I probably shouldn't say that. Okay? So what happens in the phrase yo me llamo? I call who? Myself. Thus I do the action to myself, or it is reflected back to me. When we want to write a verb in Spanish that shows it is reflexive, we add a se on the end of its infinitive form. Okay? We can show the difference between non-reflexive and reflexive. I talk is yo hablo. Now what if I talk to myself? Which I hear is okay as long as I don't answer myself. Yo me hablo. Okay? Now if each person does the action to themselves and me is myself, let's go over each form. So first let's conjugate hablar. Yo hablo, tú hablas, él habla, ella habla, usted habla, nosotros hablamos, ellos hablan, ellas hablan, ustedes hablan. Okay? Now, yo me hablo, I talk to myself. Tú te hablas, you talk to yourself. Él se habla, he talks to himself. Ella se habla, she talks to herself. Usted se habla, you talk to yourself. Nosotros nos hablamos, we talk to ourselves. Ellos se hablan, they talk to themselves. Ellas se hablan, they, the girls, talk to themselves. Ustedes se hablan, you all talk to yourselves. Some common reflexive verbs, again, we'll notice these are reflexive because of the se on the end. Despertarse, levantarse, lavarse, cepillarse, secarse, vestirse, bañarse, acostarse, dormirse. Let's try one of the easy ones, like levantarse. This means to get up or lift oneself. The formula is first ignore the se. So, we have levantarse, take off the se. Okay, just ignore it for right now. Now, let's change the verb levantar into the various forms. Okay, so it's yo levanto, I lift. Tú levantas, él levanta, ella levanta, usted levanta, nosotros levantamos, ellos levantan, ellas levantan, ustedes levantan. Okay, now I'll worry about the se. Now that I've changed the verb, the se has to be the same form for each thing. So if it's the yo form, yo levanto, when it's reflexive, I'll always have a me. Okay? In the to form, levantas, if the verb is in the to form, I'll always have a te. Te levantas, you lift up yourself, or you get yourself up. Él se levanta, ella se levanta, usted se levanta, nosotros nos levantamos, ellos se levantan, ellas se levantan, ustedes se levantan. Let's change secarse, okay, which means to dry oneself. Now remember, take off the se first, and we have secar, okay? And we can change that. We have yo seco, I dry, tú secas, él seca, ella seca, usted seca, nosotros secamos, ellos secan, ellas secan, ustedes secan. Okay? Now if we add the reflexive pronouns in front, yo me seco, tú te secas, él se seca, ella se seca, usted se seca, nosotros nos secamos, ellos se secan, ellas se secan, ustedes se secan. Okay? Now let's try cepillarse, to brush oneself. So I'll let you try this first. You might pause the video and see if you can write it down on paper and figure it out. And you can compare your answers with what I have. Okay, what I came up with was yo me cepillo, I brush myself. Tú te cepillas, you brush yourself. Él se cepilla, ella se cepilla, usted se cepilla, he brushes himself, she brushes herself, you brush yourself. Nosotros nos cepillamos, we brush ourselves. Ellos se cepillan, ellas se cepillan, ustedes se cepillan. They brush themselves, they the girls brush themselves, and you all brush yourselves. So when we make sentences, notice the difference in meaning. I wash the face. Yo lavo la cara. I wash myself the face. Or I wash my face is how we'd say that probably. Yo me lavo la cara. Now, if I don't have the me in the sentence, I have no clue whose face that I'm washing. It could be somebody else's. Okay? Now when I say yo me lavo la cara, it can only be my face. Okay? You brush the teeth. Tú cepillas los dientes. You brush your teeth. Tú te cepillas los dientes. So again, we have to have the me, te, se, nos, or se with the verb to know who the action's happening to, who we're reflecting it to. Okay? Again, the common verbs that do this are levantarse, lavarse, cepillarse, secarse, bañarse, despertarse, vestirse, acostarse, and dormirse. Notice that 4 of these are stem-changing verbs, or as those of us in the biz call them, shoe verbs. You can tell because of the parentheses after them. We're going to work on those in the next video. Let's see now if you can do this on your own. Go ahead and pause the video if you need more time before figuring out the answer. And remember, there's a word bank below this video, so just in case you don't know how to say something, you can look down there. Okay? So here goes. I get myself up. Yo me levanto. We comb our hair. Nosotros nos peinamos. Felipe dries his hair. Felipe se seca el pelo. You brush your teeth. Tú te cepillas los dientes. The boys don't bathe themselves or take a bath. Los chicos no se bañan. From the last one, I made it negative just to see if you could figure out where to put the no. For the formula, we have the subject, then the no, and then our me, te, se, that's a reflexive pronoun, and then our verb. If you look again at the sentence, los chicos, the boys, that's our subject, no, se is our reflexive pronoun, bañan is our verb. Okay? So that's the order. I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned for the next video on reflexives, and that will go over stem changers, and we'll work on using reflexives and questions. Adios.